I'm joined right now by Meghan Baker. Meghan is the owner of V-lish Vegan Food Company. So hello, Meghan.
Hi, Jamie.
I am so happy to have you here today. Can you tell our audience what V-lish is?
V-lish Vegan Food Company is your healthier vegan alternative to a traditional American fare.
I love that. And this is a pretty new company, right? I mean, you've only really started about a year ago, and you've grown exponentially since then. So can you tell us about your growth process?
Sure. We started approximately a year ago at the Easton Farmers Market with Weyerbacher Wednesday, and we were offering 2 kettles of soup. And so now we've progressed to offering 2 kettles of soup, entrees, salads, slaws, sandwiches, and more, depending on what's locally grown.
Did you always intend to own a vegan food company?
No, it was not my intention to always own a vegan food company. I always had a love for food, and I was really creative with food and passionate about that. But as I grew older and became more aware of what was in our food, I gravitated toward a vegan lifestyle. And at that onset, I wanted to provide minimally processed ingredients and locally grown alternatives as opposed to the very processed ingredients we find currently in our grocery store.
Yeah, and a big part of what V-lish is, I know for you, just through talking with you, is family and connection and kind of going back to our roots personally, but even just like as human beings. Right? And so where did that drive come from to go back to the way things used to be?
What I wanted to do was recreate what I traditionally grew up on and eating, which are things such as your tuna salads, your chicken salads, your slaws, and fantastic entrees that really are comfort foods, what we associate with comfort foods.
Now you have this company that is expanding. How did it actually start? How did you get involved with the market?
So I was prompted by my family members who enjoyed the soups to go into business. They offered the suggestion of the farmers market. It's a great place to start for small businesses. It wasn't a lot of upfront cost, and it's fantastic to build a relationship with your customers. I really think it's important that when people come to eat our food, that they recognize that I purchased these things locally. There aren't many processed ingredients. The majority of them are organic, and they can trust what's being given to them. It's truly coming from my kitchen and my love to them. And so I think that's really great for me to give back.
Yeah. Well, I know everything you cook with love, and you brought that enthusiasm and passion to our kitchen today, as well as some really cool, unique ingredients. So we are going to make one of your signature dishes. So what are we making?
Today we're going to be making our pulled vork sandwich, which is comparable to a pulled pork sandwich. It's one of our best sellers. We're going to be putting it on a slider roll and topped with our homemade slaw.
I love it. Okay, now to get started though, we need to address this right here, and this is the base of your dish. What is this thing?
That thing is a jackfruit, and the jackfruit is what we use to provide our meat alternative. So where in most cases in vegan food you would find the use of wheat gluten, we are using the jackfruit to provide the texture and take on flavor just as the tofu or wheat gluten would.
And so this is only a tiny piece of what is presumably humongous. So where do you even get these things?
Okay, jackfruits grow in tropical climates, and they grow very large, and they grow in trees. And so they're comparable to what would be considered a pineapple. Okay. And they could be anywhere from 30 to 100 pounds.
Wow.
The ones that we purchase are young jackfruit. This right here is yellow because it's a ripened jackfruit. Okay. You'll find those in season in Asian food markets. Okay. But if you catch them as pre-ripened or green or young jackfruit, as one refers to them, they will be white in color, similar to this, and they take on flavor because they're not sweet.
Okay, and this is, what's cool about this is you get this actually from a can too, right? You don't have to go and find that guy.
Right, you can find this can at any Asian food market in water or in brine.
So it's accessible to people.
That's correct.
It's easy to find. We have a lot of those markets in the area. And now we're gonna find a way to take this and turn it into a vegan pulled pork sandwich. So how do we do that? Let's get started.
First, we're gonna put in a little bit of oil.
Okay.
Just enough to brown the onions.
And you have onion that's very finely chopped.
Very finely chopped, and the reason that we finely chop it is because you don't necessarily need the texture and you're not trying to caramelize. You really just want a little bold flavor of the onion.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put in 1/3 of a cup onion. and we're going to just literally dump the entire amount of what one would have 1 can of the jackfruit into the skillet. We're gonna cook it on low to medium heat. While the jackfruit's cooking on the stove, we're gonna start making the homemade barbecue sauce.
Ooh, this is kind of neat too, Megan, because a lot of people I think don't think you can make barbecue sauce.
Right, it's something that's really easy to make. Most sauces everyone can make at home. This will take a couple seconds.
Cool, yeah, what do we have?
All right, so I'm gonna start with, this is a 1/2 cup of tomato sauce and a 1/2 cup of ketchup. We're gonna do a 1/4 cup of mustard. This is half Worcestershire and half Bragg's. So just half and half and 1/3 of a cup.
And the Worcestershire sauce you got is a vegan,
That's
right?
correct. And now we're gonna throw in some molasses, which gives it a nice flavor of sweet. In addition, I put in 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. And then you just whisk it up.
And this is so easy, and a lot of this stuff is like, these are pantry ingredients, like these are things people are familiar with.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Usually you would have all of these ingredients in a traditional fridge. So as you can see, it has that nice brownish, reddish color of your traditional barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
The key to our barbecue sauce is Shotwell, which comes from Saltopia. It's a really fantastic smoked salt. So it really enhances that kind of slow roasted over the grill flavor.
Yeah, and it smells, you guys, it smells amazing. It smells so good.
Now that our sauce is done, we can pull the jackfruit off the stove and mix the two together.
All right, let's do it. Megan, the jackfruit is all smashed up and it really looks like pulled pork. I think this is amazing. And now what do we do next?
Now we're gonna add the barbecue sauce.
This texture is like unbelievable. So it's really that comfort food like you were talking about, right? This traditional food that a lot of us grew up with.
Right. And it's really great in combination with any slaws or pasta salads. You can eat it over lettuce, you can eat it on a roll. So we've toasted some rolls to put the pulled vork on.
You can bring them over. I love the different textures too, and I feel like having a slaw that's kind of cold on top, make it a little crunchy, is like a really neat texture difference.
Right, it is a nice combination. So now we're adding the spicy slaw. And you want a good amount of it to really bring out the flavor. And then we're gonna top it with some of the barbecue sauce.
Megan, this looks awesome. I think this is such a cool, unique idea and a way for people to use an ingredient that they're not necessarily familiar with to make this cool, like, vegan version of a food that they may have grown up with, which is, I know, kind of what your whole company is based on. And if people want to learn more about V-lish Vegan Food Company, they can check out your website, they can go on your social media stuff, and they can find you where? At the Easton Market?
So we're at the Easton Farmers Market, but in addition to the Easton Farmers Market, we're selling out of Essence of Health, which is on 25th Street in Easton, and Greenmouth Juice, which is right off Northampton Street in Easton. So you can find our products there. Our goal is in the future to be really readily accessible in a lot of your Nature's food stores and wholesaling out to other restaurants.
That's awesome. Megan, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your awesome signature pulled vork recipe with us.
Thank you, Jamie.